Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Today I finally have the video that I have been trying to put up for, or like film for, the longest time ever. I mentioned a long time ago that I wanted to do a kind of like a makeup for beginner series, and I was going to start off with eyeshadows because somebody had asked me over on my Facebook page if I had a video like this, and I didn't at the time, so it's finally here. It took me so long because I am so busy, and this one actually took probably the longest to film and get ready for. So it's finally here, and thank you so much you guys for requesting videos like this. I love when you guys make suggestions. But yeah, we're just going to kind of learn how to do this type of eye look. It's kind of hard to tell right now, but it's just a very simple eye look. Something that you can easily wear on an everyday basis, but kind of take it and work with it and work with different colors to kind of take it to a nighttime look. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you find it helpful. I'm going to keep this kind of short because the video itself is probably going to be pretty long. So like I said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye. Okay, so just to kind of speed things up, I went ahead and did one of my eyes already just because I don't want this video to be super long. But let's go ahead and get started. I am going to pin my hair back so that it's not in the way. And because it's so darn hot, I mean, the AC has been blowing all day, but no matter how like low you keep it or whatever, like it's still so hot because it's so humid and gross and sticky and ugh. Anyway, that is besides the point. But okay, we are going to be talking about eyeshadows for beginners. So we're taking it back to the basics and how to basically apply eyeshadow to create a look like this. It's very simple, and you can do this look with any color that you want. So you can do purples, you can do blues, you can do grays, you can do pinks. I mean, any color that you want to do, you can do this with. I am using neutral colors, and it's kind of hard to see with my mascara on already, but you'll be able to see kind of like the shape that I create. It's a more rounded, elongated shape, if that makes any sense. But we're just going to begin with the very first step that you want to do when you're going to apply eyeshadow, and that is starting with a primer. And I actually forgot to bring mine in here, but there are different types of primers. I used one from the Balm. It's called Put a Lid on It. It helps my eyeshadow stay on longer and not crease because I do have oily eyelids. There are many different primers out there. Some people don't have oily eyelids and don't have problem with creasing, so concealer works, and just make sure you set it with either a really light eyeshadow or a translucent powder, because you don't want, when you're blending, you don't want the eyeshadow to skip, because then it just won't look pretty. It just looks so weird. It'll like drag and kind of skip a little. So you want that to just kind of, diffuse onto your eyes really nicely. So I'm probably going to be using the words diffuse, blend, and a few other words a lot. So yeah, just kind of throwing that out there. After you've applied your primer and set it, then you can go ahead and get started. So I am going to use the Lorac Pro 3 palette that just came out, just because it has really neutral shades. And it starts off with pretty light colors. It's not super dark, so if you like neutral colors and you don't wear eyeshadow on an everyday basis, but you want something where you can create everyday looks and then still kind of create a little bit of drama, this palette is going to be the one for you. I really like it. Now just be careful because they do have some fallout because they're so creamy. So one of the tips that I always tell people is make sure that you tap your brush before you go to apply on your eyelids, especially if you already have your makeup on, because then you're gonna have fallout everywhere. So keep that in mind. Always tap off the excess off the brush. So let's go ahead and get started with a transition shade. And what a transition shade is basically a color that's gonna help diffuse all of the other colors together. So you want this shade to be 1 to 2 shades darker than your skin tone, depending on what colors that you're working with. So we're gonna start off with the shade Pink Nude. It's right there, and for this you want to use a blending brush. You want to use a really good blending brush that is kind of super fluffy like this one and has like a little bit of a taper like some taperness to it. Taperness, is that a word? It kind of tapers. As you can see, it starts off kind of skinny and gets a little bit fluffier. That's the kind of blush that you want to use. This is a Sigma E40. This is, I've had this brush for years and it has not, you know, shed or anything. It still looks brand new. None of the wording has worn off or anything. So if you're gonna invest in a good blending brush, I really recommend this one. So to apply the transition shade, you are going to apply this kind of, not necessarily messily, but not too perfect onto your eye. So you want to work, I like to work, or something that I just started is working, how do I have lip gloss all the way up here, really? I like to work with my eyes slightly open because I have hooded eyelids, and what that means is I have that heavy fold, as you can see right there. It kind of folds over and covers part of my lid, which I hate so much. I wish I had that pretty like defined crease. Oh my gosh, I wish I had that, but I don't. So I kind of have to work with what I have. So with the transition shade, you are going to apply this slightly above your crease, and you're going to blend that color all the way through and windshield wiper motions, just like that. And you want to start with a little bit of product at a time. You don't want to go in with a lot of product because it's easier to add on more product than it is to take off. You can see I kind of like to start over at the outer corner and blend in, just because I want a little bit more of the darkness on the outer corner than I do on the inner corner. You don't want to close your eyes off too much. If you start off with too much dark in the inner corner, it'll kind of close them in, and you want to create a more wide-eyed open effect. And you can also do circular motions like this. I kind of go back and forth between windshield wiper motions and then circular motions. You really just want to kind of diffuse that color. And at first you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, really, there's like nothing there. But once everything comes together, it just, that color kind of makes everything come together, really is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't look like a lot, but it really makes the world of a difference. So then after your transition shade, you want to define your crease. Now some people have wonderful eye shapes where their crease is already super defined, and this is going to be super easy for you. So for me, I kind of have to fake it, and because I have that hooded lid. So the definition color, excuse me, is going to be about 2 shades darker than your transition color. As you can see, it doesn't look like it's there, but I mean, once you blend everything and kind of work the colors together, it's just gonna look so pretty and diffused. Told you I was gonna say it a lot. Okay, so for the definition color, I am going to use the shade Clay. Where are you at? There you are, right there. You still want to use a blending brush in order to define your crease, but this one's a little bit different. This one, as you can see, is a little bit more wider, but it's pinched right there, and then it kind of tapers up just a little bit. And it's, I mean, it's just perfect to kind of get in there and really define your crease and still blend without putting too much product and not having like a stark line. So we're gonna go in with Clay, tap off the excess, and I'm going to keep my eyes slightly open because I have that hooded lid. So I'm going to go in right into where my crease would be and kind of fake that crease. So right in there. Remember, you want to start off with a little bit of product at a time, and then you can blend. And you're basically going to blend this the same way you blend the transition shade, except I don't do a whole lot of circular motions with this. I just kind of go back and forth and then do the circular motions right over here at the outer corner. As you can see, there's already a little bit of definition. You can see the transition shade, and then there's that definition shade right there. And then you want to go ahead and go back and forth and blend. Every time you add a new color, you want to blend so that those two colors can kind of diffuse together. Okay, now we're going to move on to the outer corner. We want to define that outer corner and give it some depth. So for that, you want to use a color that's obviously darker than any other color that you've used. And you can go as dark as you want. I am going to use the shade Dark Brown right there. And for this, I am going to use a small blending brush. This is what it looks like. And it's, let me show you the difference between this one and the Sigma E40. As you can see, they are very different in size. The Sigma one is super fluffy, super big, and this one's smaller, so it's easier to work color into your outer corner. Still working with my eyes open here. And the way that I like to apply my definition color is by kind of tapping it right into the outer corner. That's just the way it works for, like, that's just how I like it for my eye shape. I kind of tap it into the outer corner, just like so. And then I just kind of make sure that I don't put too much. And so you can already see it. Now you don't want to go past your like lash line. Like if you could draw like an imaginary line like that, you don't want to go past that. So kind of doing that, tapping it, tap, tap, tap. And then you can go in with your blending brush and blend it. And then do that again. I like to work, you know, like I said, a little color at a time just because it's easier. You don't have to worry about adding too much because then one eye is going to look off. You just want to be patient. It takes practice, it takes time, but once you kind of get a groove going and you kind of get a rhythm, it's so easy. And this is just like a simple eye look. There's obviously so many different eye looks you can do. You can do like a halo eye, which that's completely, I mean, it's not hard to do, but it's just something completely different than this. There's just so many different eye looks you can do, and this is just like the simplest one, really. It's kind of like you're sandwiching colors in together, if that makes any sense. Okay, so now that I have it how I want it, we are going to add in a lid color. Now for a lid color, you can do a shimmery shade, you can do glitter if you want, you can do something really pretty and metallic. I would, for a look like this, obviously go for something lighter, just to kind of open your eyes and give you that fresh, kind of wide awake look. I'm gonna go for something matte just because I don't want to work with shimmers today. So I am going to go in with the shade Blanc from the palette, and you need just a simple eyeshadow shading brush. That's all you need. Any eyeshadow shading brush will work. You just don't want to use a blending brush, obviously, because that's just not going to work. But just a regular eyeshadow brush, and then just kind of work that into the lid area. Okay, now that we've done a lid color, you want to highlight that brow bone. And to highlight the brow bone, you can do matte or shimmer. I am going to use a little bit of shimmer just because the whole eye look is matte enough already. From the palette, I am going to use the shade Light Gold. It's the lightest shimmer shade in the palette. And I'm just using a super small eyeshadow brush. So you want to highlight right in here. And you obviously don't want to go past your brow. You want to highlight the inner tear duct, or I always do. You don't have to, but I like to. I just feel like it finishes the look off. And you just take that same color that you used for your brow bone, and you apply that right into your tear duct. And it just kind of pulls everything together, I feel like. It just makes everything look so pretty. So now a lot of people I've noticed that a lot of people don't wear eyeshadow on their lower lash line. I'm not sure why. Maybe they're unsure of how to apply it, or they're just not used to it. I see that a lot of people, what they like to do is line their entire waterline, like their waterline and their lower lash line, with black eyeliner. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to learn to really blend it and not just leave the stark black line because it really closes your eyes in. And what we're trying to go here for is a much, you know, kind of wider eye. So you don't want to close them in too much. It makes your eyes look small if you just line them with black eyeliner. So you want to kind of, you know, use the eyeshadows to help create that bigger eye shape. So to apply eyeshadow on the lower lash line, what you're going to do is take your transition shade, or not, I'm sorry, you can take either your transition shade or your shade, the color that you use to define your crease. And you want, I'm gonna, excuse me, I'm gonna take the shade that I used to define my crease, just because the shade that I use as a transition shade is a little too light. But you take whichever of those two colors that you like, and you're gonna use a blending, like a little pencil brush that is movable, you know, like it blends well. It's not too stiff. There we go, that's the word. I couldn't find the word. But you want to get a pencil brush that is not too stiff, that's kind of flimsy enough to smoke out the lower lash line. And another thing that I almost forgot to mention is when you're working with eyeshadow brushes, you want to work or hold a brush at the end of the handle, because the closer you are to the brush, the more control you have of it, and it doesn't kind of diffuse a product well enough. So the farther away you are, the more kind of flimsy the brush is, and it's easier to smoke things out. So we're going to take that color and we're going to apply it to the lower lash line, and we're going to smoke it out. And you can totally stop right there, but if you want to kind of take it a little step further and really define that lower lash line without applying dark eyeliner, take a pencil brush, like an eyeliner brush like this one, and take the darkest color that you used. So in my case, it'd be dark brown. And you're going to want to kind of line your lower lash line with it to define it and give it more of a defined look. Okay, so I have applied my mascara, and one thing I do want to mention is if you want to add like a winged liner or just any type of liner on your top lash line, you totally can. I decided to skip it today just because I've been skipping liner in general for some reason here for like the last, I don't know, long time really. But that's what it looks like. As you can see, it's just a very, very simple eye look that you can wear every day, and you can easily take this technique and just kind of smoke it up even more, use darker colors, and you can easily turn it into a nighttime look. Very simple, very easy. I hope you guys, let me go ahead and zoom you out a little bit so you're not too like in my face. But okay, there we go, that's a little bit better. I hope you guys enjoyed this and found it helpful. I know that when you're first working with color, especially, you know, eyeshadows, and especially when it's like a bright color, you don't know where to start, and it's very hard. I completely understand. I've been there. But you know, maybe perhaps at the end of the night, after you're getting ready to take, like once you're getting ready to take off your makeup, grab a makeup palette and your brushes and start playing with the eyeshadows, and that way you can get practice in, and then you're fixing to take it off anyway, so if you mess up, there's no worries, you can just take it off. So play around with it and see what works best for you, and just kind of work with your eye shape. It's very difficult when you have hooded eyelids. Very difficult, especially if you're working with shimmers. That's why I very rarely work with shimmers. I love them, especially metallics, but I just can't work with them that much because of the whole of transferring. I get a lot of transfer from my lid to my hooded part. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, I hope you found this helpful. If you haven't already, I would love if you subscribed and became a part of our family. It would make me smile. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.